story in the Gospel of Jesus and the woman at the well. We all know it. It's a familiar story. But what does it really have to say to us? Jesus comes into town after walking all day from place to place and village to village, and he's tired. So he goes and he sits at the well. And there's nobody usually at the well at noon because it's siesta time. And in that area where it was hot and sweaty during the noontime, people would go to their homes and get out of the sun and try to stay cool. But this day Jesus came to the well. And as he was sitting at the well, he met a woman. And a woman came and sat beside him. And she was a Samaritan. Now, we all know the story of the Samaritans. The Jews couldn't stand the Samaritans. They were the most despicable, hateful people that you could think of ever getting engaged with. First of all, you wouldn't engage with them at all. But Jesus did. And he tried to get her into a conversation. And she's shocked to think that, what is this Jewish man speaking to me? No one ever speaks to me. And that's why I came to the well at noon, so I wouldn't have to be worried about being with these people, so they wouldn't put me down. But Jesus saw behind her. He saw behind her weaknesses, her sin, and whatever she had done. And he looked at her in her eye, and he loved her. And he saw the sinner behind the sin. And he asks her for a drink. And they continued to talk. And then she says, "Sir, you don't have a bucket. How are you going to get water down there? This well is very deep. And this well has been here for thousands of years. Jacob and his cattle used to feed from this area and drink from this well. How are you going to get this water when you don't have a bucket?" And Jesus said to her, "I don't need a bucket, because I'm the living water. And you can have this living water if you want it." And he says to her, "Go get your husband." And she says, "I don't have a husband." And he says, "You're right, you don't have a husband. You've had 5, and the guy you're living with today isn't the guy that's your husband." And she's shocked. How does this guy know what's going on in my life? I've never met him before. And so she goes off to the town and she tells her friends that she thinks she's met the Messiah. And she comes back. And Jesus forgives her and loves her and feeds her with the eternal water. Now, what does this story have to do with us? Jesus is trying to say, first of all, we don't judge other people. We go beyond the sin to see the sinner, because that's what the Father did. That's why we're all redeemed, and that's why we're all saved, because God is all merciful, and he looks beyond our mistakes and our faults and our sins and our failings. And he forgives us, and he loves us. And then Jesus says, look at this well. Yes, it's very deep, but I'm the well. I'm the well in your lives, and you have to come to me to get that living water. Because if you want to live, you need the living water. Because without water, you can't survive. And that's what we need. We need living water in our life. And that living water is Jesus. Because he is our way, he is our truth, and he is our life. And if we don't accept that, then we're missing out. We're missing out. We're throwing it all away. So, we all need to go to the well. And we all have a well deep within us. But we have to look inside and see it. And we have to look inside and plumb it. And we have to look inside and put down the bucket into that water if we're going to survive and get growth and development. And that comes through prayer. That comes from a relationship with the God that loves you. And that comes from a relationship with being in love with the living water, who is Jesus, again, who is our way, our truth, and our life. And if we have no connection between the water and our life, no connection between the depth of the well that's within us that can be filled with that living water, then we are going to die from thirst. Jesus came here to feed that for thirst, and the Father came to fill that well with his mercy and love. So come to the well. Feed on that well. Drink from that well. Be filled with the mercy and the graces and the blessings and the love of the Father that loves you.